Hi, I'm Don Dergler, editor of Claims Journal. Thank you for joining us for Claims Journal's podcast. This regular video series on all things claims related is just one of several ongoing changes here at Claims Journal. We've launched a website redesign, beefed up our coverage of how AI and technology are transforming claims departments around the world, and we're now bringing you a steady stream of expert-written insight on trends and best practices in written and video formats. Stay tuned, there's more to come. Hi, welcome to the Claims Journal podcast. I'm here today with Keith Lewis of Verisk CargoNet. We're talking about, of course, cargo theft. Keith, thanks for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm a vice president of our crime intelligence unit for the CargoNet solution of Verisk. My team, we take in theft data from our clients, theft events, if you will. Anything that is an attack against the supply chain, whether it's fraud, a physical theft, or an attempt, we take that information in, we aggregate that data. If it's actionable intelligence, we get on the phone right away with law enforcement, let them know what's happening, what's coming. If we recognize the method of operation of the criminal, we send out bolos, be on the lookout to our clients, and we send out a more detailed alert to law enforcement, giving them a little more specifics on what's going on. Our clients are able to take that data that we send out, they take the analytics and they can use it for predictive analysis. It's almost like history repeats itself. It's almost like a crime analysis unit of a law enforcement agency that you can use that information that has MC numbers, phone numbers, names, locations, methods of operations. And our clients can take that information, use it, and predict thefts, and use that information, which more important is prevention, prevent that theft. The information we take in, think of a database for stolen items. Law enforcement is able to ping that and look at that. And if they conduct a search warrant, they stop a vehicle on the side of the road, they hit that. If they don't feel comfortable logging in themselves, they pick up the phone and call us, as they do many times when they execute search warrants. And we look up, if we don't have the data in there, if they've got data that they suspect is stolen, we'll make the phone calls to the shippers, the manufacturers, et cetera. We'll confirm if the items are stolen, if not stolen. And if they're stolen, they can seize them and make an arrest.
Well, so in recent times, it seems cargo thefts have gone up and the activity has become a bit more sophisticated. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We saw what I call the COVID bounce in 2020. May of 2020, the country pretty much shut down. People started working from home, and it changed the patterns of how people buy and what people buy. We saw a significant bounce there, and our thefts jumped up a couple hundred from the prior year. The next year, we somewhat normalized 2021, but since 2020, it's been headed in the wrong direction and headed there fast. 2022, we saw it go up, and it's continued in an upward trend since 2021, that is. And since 2020, we've seen a 90% increase in overall theft. Fraud has gone up. In some periods, if you look at the fraud activity in the supply chain, it's gone up upwards of somewhat to, depending on what time period you're looking at, 12 to 1,500%. 1,200 to 1,500%.
That's quite a jump. That's quite a jump.
It is. So what changed was the methods. The methods changed of traditional cargo theft to more fraud and identity theft. And one of the big things we saw was we could work from home. We learned that during the pandemic. And then we took that to a higher level and realized we could work from anywhere in the world. So a lot of these actors that we're seeing now that are entering this market for theft are coming from the overseas area.
Well, what about severity? How is that changing?
Well, in regard to the severity, the type of commodities that we're seeing, is that what you're referencing?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, as far as we talked a little bit about the data showing that claims are up, the number of these incidents are up. What about like how severe some of these incidents are? Like bigger losses on average, or?
Yes. So as prices go up, right? Obviously, inflation, prices go up, and everything's driven off the demand. Electronic devices, tablets, virtual reality headsets, and we see things shift from time to time. A couple of years ago, if we were having this talk a couple of years ago, we'd be talking about energy drinks and solar panels. Now we're talking about copper. Copper seems to be the trend. Your average value of a theft can be upwards of, say, about $250,000. Estimates are for this year, we're going to hit $500 million for losses. Last year, we were probably around 460. So we're headed in the wrong direction, and we're headed there fast. Last year, we took in close to 4,000, like 3,900 thefts. This year, we'll probably be upwards of probably 4,200.
Wow, that's pretty big. Well, how is the transportation industry reacting to this?
Well, they're doing a good job. They do the best they can. They're in a reactive mode. You got some companies are very proactive. They have more of a hunter type mentality versus just sitting back and being the prey. Some of our clients are very proactive. They're using AI to identify bad actors. They've got a lot of great things going on. I've got faith and confidence in the industry that they're going to turn this around and get it together. But obviously, what we're talking about here is what's the impact to the consumer? There is the problem. The cost all falls back on the end consumer.
Well, what about the insurance industry? What's the reaction there? I mean, rates going up, availability?
Well, as it affects the insurance industry, it's like being 18 years old and driving a Ferrari, trying to get that insurance for that Ferrari. Obviously, it can be more challenging. Right. I don't want to speak for the insurance vertical, but it can be more challenging. One thing I'm seeing is policy language is changing. I'm seeing more exclusions regarding that and higher deductibles. So the impact is hitting the insurance vertical, and these are my friends that work with us that are in the insurance industry that are passing this intelligence on. But just like everything else, they can only suffer losses so long as well. Sooner or later, this is going to be pushed back down to the carrier and then obviously pushed back up in the rates, which obviously sends it right back to the consumer. Right.
Well, I imagine underwriting's affected too. I mean, you mentioned some transportation companies have more of the hunter mentality than the prey. I mean, are they getting, from what you know, better rates or better terms in their policies?
Well, I wouldn't be able to make a speculation on that, but the companies that I'm talking about that are taking those kind of cutting edge approaches, they're more on the self-insured side. Those are the larger ones. Right. They've got the economies to scale where their deductibles may be far higher than the losses are, so they may be just absorbing them. But they're doing a great job of identifying these bad actors every day.
Well, what about tariffs? Is that impacting cargo theft at all?
Well, tariff anxiety is something that we're all kind of faced with every day. We live in a push-pull environment. Whatever the consumer's buying, that's what the bad guys are stealing. So I don't think the tariffs have had that much of an impact. I'm not an economist, but if you were asking my lay opinion on this, I'd say it hasn't come into play. We really haven't seen the total impact of all this anxiety and all the fear and all the hyperbole around what's going to happen with the tariffs.
Right.
Yet, if you watch the news every day, we're signing a deal here, we're making a deal there, or we just don't know. And I don't want to speculate, but it really doesn't have any impact. The thief, the criminal, isn't reading Forbes every day or watching the news or anything like that. They're stealing what the consumer is buying. And if the consumer is buying it, obviously there's a market for it and they're going to steal it.
Right. Well, can you go over some of the bigger thefts? I mean, everybody thinks of like Lufthansa heist, right? Anything like that going on?
Well, I can't remember what the total dollar amount was in the Lufthansa heist, but that was the anomaly there, right?
Right.
And then we saw about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, we saw the Eli Lilly theft that was $70+ million. So that, to me, that was far greater of an impact than the Lufthansa heist. But what we see now is some of the commodities that are being stolen, AI servers, Bitcoin and mining machines. We really don't see the pharmaceuticals being stolen. I was talking to someone with a law enforcement agency, and they had a case of a $250,000 load of dimes that were stolen, of just currency, right? So we still see, that type of cash being stolen, but it's a different type of theft. But what we deal with mostly is food and beverage. And on the technology side, the tablets, like I said, AI servers and Bitcoin mining machines, those seems to be the highest value commodity out there now that are being stolen. In particular, I'm thinking of three shipments of AI servers that were stolen that were upwards of probably $4 to $5 million each theft.
Well, you mentioned that these thieves are opportunists. They're going to steal what they can sell. I mean, Verisk CargoNet comes out with a report before holidays often that talk about how the holidays, a lot of these transportation hubs or areas are left maybe unattended, and that's where the thieves go for it, right? They're just pretty much opportunists looking for the next big score, right?
Well, that's a different type of crime than the fraud.
Right.
That's more of the asset-based surface transportation theft where the vehicle's left unattended. So if you probably look around the country right now and you were looking at the truck parking areas, truck stops, we're starting to slow the roll and come to a stop because nobody wants to get stuck. Speaking from the driver's standpoint, they want to be home for the holiday. So the trailer's loaded. It's sitting at the drop yard. The trailer's loaded. It's sitting at the secured yard that they're paying for to park their truck. And the old thing is freight. I've said this 100 times is freight at rest is freight at risk. And when the wheels stop rolling, that's when the higher risk is for this theft, because we're not living in the fast and furious moment here. Nobody's jumping on the back of the truck and stealing it while it's moving. Right. As long as the cargo's in motion, it's pretty safe. But when the nation shuts down for whatever it is, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, any of the holidays, the drivers don't want to be out. The carriers don't want their drivers to be sitting at a truck stop. They may be paying them, a per day fee or whatever. So they want those trucks back at the home terminal, and the drivers, the owner operators, want to be home as well.
Well, Keith, thank you for all this. It's a really informative and a very interesting topic. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate the opportunity.